Good evening, y'all. It's Platoon. It's golf. This is evenings and weekends. We're on week 14, day one. And what that means is intro to CRUD with Django, DRF. Well, let me not say DRF. We'll say Django. Um, we've done CRUD before. Real quick, somebody, what's CRUD?
Create, read, update, delete.
Yeah. Today we'll be doing read and update. Although read's nothing new. We've been doing that. We're going to add update to our views. Not anything super crazy. An update is just an edit, right? Um, if we are able to get a single instance uh, of something, then we're halfway to being able to track one down and update it and make changes. That's about it. The difference between an update and a push, a post, sorry, is a post is going to require all the data to make a new instance, and an update should only include the things that you want to change. It is not good practice to update or rewrite the entire instance. Um, for example, if we have an instance of a Pokemon with a name and a level, whatever else they have, it's just that, right? Uh, Captured status, I guess, but you would, if you wanted to change one thing, you should only update just the one. I don't want to send an entire instance of a Pokemon where some fields are not going to be changed, and then we try to update everything. You can do that. There's nothing really wrong with doing that, other than you're writing nothing. Um, that's like saying, "Hey, save this." Well, it's already saved. No change, no harm, no foul. Well, it's wasteful, and you have a chance of I don't know. You have a chance of introducing a bug or causing an issue, whereas you think you updated just one thing, when in reality you updated the entire instance. Some things didn't change, but maybe you accidentally changed something you weren't planning on. You should really only be sending a put with the data you intend to change, just so we're not resaving nothingness. Um, it's a good way to kind of, when you're making updates, reduce your blast zone is what I'm trying to say. We don't need to go all deep into this. CRUD and API design, I think, is worth chatting about. These are common API verbs. Um, I rarely see anything other than post, get, put, delete. I've seen patches, but we're almost always going to be doing this. I've seen this once, but get gets the headers anyways. If you only wanted the headers for one, these things are going to be kind of niche, and of course, one of you is going to go off to some place where you need to know all of them, and you're like, oh no, Jordan was wrong. These are all super important. I haven't seen it, and I don't think most people are going to see that. Um, Ignore patch and just worry about these four. No, there are others though. For an update. I mean, I can read it. We can read along. Our update so far has been able to, our app so far has been able to read, but we can't do anything else. We're going to change that today using views. We're going to write out a put request. To do that, though, remember the difference. There's a lot of differences between editing and writing, right? A put and a post, easy to mix them together in some ways. I guess they can be, I mean, they're kind of about the same thing, except they're not. And the important part is a post is always creating a new instance. So the one thing a post does not require is an ID, right? A put kind of has to have an ID because what are you going to update? So what we're going to add, and I'll pull up the code here in a second. But what's important to make sure we have is an ability to get the ID that we want and then write the put to update it. Let me yoink all this down. No, don't do that. I am going to the end of day 7 branch. Yeah. Okay. So within Pokemon, oh, sorry, not that Pokemon app, we've got our views page. This should not be new. We should have all seen this in prior classes. Goodness me, this is so many notes. From a teaching standpoint, this is nice. If you ever have this many notes in something you're done with, I'm gonna be mad at you. Comments for where the code doesn't speak for itself. But let's add. I could just copy paste over this. The only thing we're really adding to this, as I mentioned, is the get Pokemon function here and the put function there. So yeah, let's slide that in. I guess I can I'll just paste over the whole thing so it won't cause any issues. But let's look at this. I don't like just copy pasting with your code. So get Pokemon self ID. If type ID is int, which is a good thing to check for, multiple levels we're going to be verifying this is in fact an integer. Get Pokemon objects by ID. Straight enough forward. I know we talked a little bit about during the weekend about how we haven't gone too deep into the ORM of Django. This week we will be utilizing it at least to do some of these more basic things. So the Django ORM is name the model, say objects, because you want it in object form, and we're going to do a get. ID is this. Off the top of my head, now I'm okay, I see what's going on here. We'll play with it in a second. So this is a kind of a flexible endpoint, right? We should be able to get it by the ID, but if we're provided a name instead, ideally we can get it by that as well. The get, same as we've seen before. This is going to get Pokemon, should get all of them. The put though. So to put, first we need the instance that we're trying to get. That's going to be pulled by the ID. This, wherever it's this. If level, and this is going to be two things we're going to be updating, right? A Pokemon's level or its captured status for this endpoint. If it's there, we are going to update it. This Pokemon level up function comes from, let's not forget, models level up. Here it is. Just a function in our models that performs this level up for us. Either we'll level it up and or update the captured status. Again, it's important to make sure we don't update things unless we intend to update them. Don't rewrite stuff, only change what's being changed. After that, we run our full clean, we run all our validations on this new object, we verify we didn't break it, and once we've got a working object following all our rules, we can then save it. We can then return this as JSON. Whenever you do a post or a put, it is really, really handy if the API tells you something happened. The response should say something along the lines of updated, or this is what you've done, or the most useful thing, in my opinion, is the new instance with the updates. So that's what this is going to do. I mean, that's that. We're going to go in here and play with this, but have I lost anyone thus far? All right. Well, let's start this dadgum thing up then, huh? Docker compose up dash D, start it up, detach. Then we want to get in there and start messing with the database via Django. So we start up Django, rather, we need to load up Django's shell. Before we do that, let's make sure we make migrations and migrate and get Django kind of running and all that. Create a virtual environment. We pip install our requirements. I expected this, but I just did this on a different machine and running the same error. I wonder if it's got to be get out of here. Gotta be version issues. So as we've run into before, this install requirement not necessary depending on what version of Python you're running. Let me just blow that away. Goodness gracious. Pick the one you can. There we go. Django's installed. Using our manage.py, we make our migrations. First time, I just set up a brand new database. We have to get all the Django stuff in there. Oh, interesting. What is this? Ooh. I am confused as to how I'm running into issues that I've not run into when I ran this last time, which was just earlier today. Let's see what this is saying. So migration Pokemon app 001 initial is applied before its dependency move app. Any guesses as to what this means?
That there's some relationship that's being applied before the table is being made, but it also could be that you have that pre-existing file when you initially make the model. So if you don't delete them when you go back to do something, um, yeah, that, yeah,
Ooh.
that's what it looks like.
I'm thinking I might have pushed something up to here, but I don't remember. I didn't push to this branch. Yeah, let's get rid of the old migrations. This should be a fresh start. I don't need to do that. We are iterating technically, but these are up in our way. Get out of here. Goodness. Pause real quick. I'm running into something I don't expect. Recording is resumed. This is a state you're going to get into when you're trying to capture different states of an application throughout its deployment, and we're doing weird different things. The way our migrations had been created were separately creating the moves migration as well as the Pokemon migration, and then we went back and said, hey, Pokemon, you now depend on moves. All I did was I deleted Pokemon migration. I made sure that I mean, you can even see what I've done here. I got rid of the Pokemon app migration. I migrated the moves migration, then I made migrations. It's all caught up. We're in a good state. You can run into these kind of issues if you're not careful about the way you step through your migrations, because we're trying to show off some weird things and keep it iterative and working. We're going to get into this weird state every now and then. I'm not sure why I didn't run into this when I was testing this earlier, but maybe maybe I'll figure it out as we go. But we should be caught up. Migrations are rough. Let's get in those brains. Hop into the Django shell. Let's import the moves and the Pokemons. Yes, please. And run some queries, right? Remember, we need to move prior to creating a Pokemon. At this point, we're going to create the move Psychic, which evidently is a Pokemon move. I'm just kidding. I do know that, but I like to act like I don't because Pokemon's nerd stuff, y'all. It's for kids. Please do not ask me again. Now we have Charizard, and technically it could have a move if it wanted to, but the moves need to, kind of exist before this happens. Great. So we've got a move, we've got a Pokemon. We should be able to make some updates, if we so choose. We're going to add them together. We've got our move, we got our Pokemon. We're going to attach the move to the Pokemon. So this Charizard is going to learn Psychic. I don't think that's allowed, but that's what we're doing today. So saying this Pokemon is get the first object of Pokemon should be this Charizard. Oh my goodness. There it is. Yep, it's that one. That does exist. We did get one. Set the move. There it is. It is Psychic. See, doesn't that just look so much cleaner? And we're going to add a move to this Pokemon. What are you saying to me? Oops. Pause again. Recording is resumed. We're back. Spoiler alert / what happened. Oh man, is it not? Ooh, do I have it in my? I don't know why it's all not here. What was happening? And I could probably show it here. Oh, Docker volume ls. I ran Docker volume prune, cleaned up my unused, no longer required Docker volumes. Docker volume? What do you mean, Jordan? This thing, don't forget. This is being mapped to a local spot on my machine. I foolishly assumed if this container was gone and not in use, and this volume is not in use, it would remove the unused local volumes for whatever reason, and I will find out why it didn't consider this unused. So that database is still stuck around. It was still in a janky spot from the last time I worked on it a few days ago when I gave that class. So that's why nothing made sense. I thought I was starting with a fresh database and I wasn't, and then I thought I remade the database and I didn't. So that's why the migrations were janky. After removing this, which if you ever want to do that, that's just Docker volume remove and the name of it. I recreated this with Docker Compose. It was a fresh database, and my migrations went off exactly the way you would hope that they would, by showing what it all is I want to change, and then actually running through, creating the tables and all that. So we're back to sanity. I was able to add a move to a Pokemon because that's a real thing that exists in our models. One thing I need to do to clean up after myself is I undid the work we had done on this view. So let me make sure we are able to put again. And now we can actually deal with the API side of this. If I have Insomnia, I'll use it, but we really don't need it. Okay, I don't have Insomnia installed, which is basically the same dang thing as Postman. I just like Insomnia a little better. I need to display that to y'all. Anyways, let's get to it. We'll start at this Django app. Python manage.py on the server. It's up. These commands, again, remember, created this Charizard Pokemon, created the move Psychic, and we added them together. We should be able to see that right here. There it is. Here's our model, fields, yada, yada. Name Charizard, there's the level. Captured is true, and it's got the first move, that is Psychic, right? To test our put, we can use this handy dandy Django DRF fun stuff. All I want to do is change one thing. I want to change the level. I want to set it to 30. And that's it. I'm not going to give it any other information. It doesn't need that. And I'm sending it to this endpoint right here. When I hit put, so I don't lose y'all. I'm not doing any weird black magic here. I'm literally just firing off this request here. This is a put to this very same URL. That is the body. There are many tools available to us to get this done. I could use curl if I wanted. This is right here. It's part of the Django REST framework, which is what we teach. That's what we're going to use. Put. Uh-oh, did I make a mistake? Was that bad JSON? Expected property enclosed double. Oh, okay. That was bad JSON. Hiya! Level 30. Why did we get this back? Why am I seeing this right now? Is this a get? Or is this the response of a put? I do wonder. It's the response of our put. Should be anyways. What if I I'm not gonna check with that. That's gonna cause more issues than I want to mess with. This is the response. This is, hey, this is the Pokemon that you updated. Here it is with this new information. Good. That's what the purpose of returning this is. People don't think about this sometimes when you're hand rolling your own API. It is smart and expected and just the good guy thing to do. Return the updated model to the user when they update it. It's that track. You know what I'm saying? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down with that? If you make a change to my model and I got an API worth its salt, I should return the model to you updated. I might even return a sentence that says, hey, I updated your model. See, like you can have some kind of cheeky response like that if you so desire. I don't like playing with stuff when I'm on record, but I can't stop thinking that I might be able to do something like this.
I have a question.
What's up?
So I can see where you did the change and everything, but will you go back to the Python?
I will in just a second. I have to play with this. Hey-o. See that? I'm coming to your question. I didn't forget about you. But this response, I did just change the response of this put in our view to just the word updated. What does it give me back? Updated. It's probably, well, one, it's easier for us to just say, as the thing I updated, may as well give it back to you. But it's more useful to, if I just say updated, it's like, cool. I mean, I believe you, I guess. But let's make sure we actually, give back useful information that a user might be able to use. What is your question again, Mike? I apologize.
Okay, so the object gets the initial data. You give it, then you're returning that object, but that's just the update to that key that you did. So what you're showing is just the object that you updated. So it's not going back to from the database to get that.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a fair point. What I am showing you is not the new object. I am showing you the representation of what was put in the database. And the reason that isn't a lie is because we ran both our validations and the update. They ran successfully. If they did not, we wouldn't be here, right? We'd have errors. I loaded it up, this instance, into JSON and was able to return that. To your point, that's kind of it's not a lie. It's maybe a little misdirection. It would potentially show you an untruth if something happened here in our validations and our saving. You absolutely could. What I think you're getting on to is we just do this. That's what you want to see, right?
Yes.
You want me to go fetch it again?
Yes.
We can do that. That's more writing, or sorry, that's more reading from the database. It's gonna be a little bit slower. Technically, this is like, absolute source of truth now because I went to the database and got it when it was done. You can do that. There's just considerations, right? Everything has a cost. We're now going to the database, pulling this Pokemon out, making an update, saving it to the database, going to the database, pulling it back out, getting the new thing and showing it, to the user. If our database is really close to our API, whatever, that's fine. I don't care. Go for it. But we are confident that if we can run validations and save successfully, that what we're returning, don't think of it as a lie. It is a receipt of, yeah, hey, this did get updated, right? That's what we're doing otherwise. But yeah, no, you have a point. And this is, I mean, I've seen it done this way plenty of times. If I were to hand roll it, I think I might actually do as you suggested, because I do want to show the user yeah, hey, this is legitimately in the database. I'm not lying. I'm not uh optimistically updating. Like this is a no shit update, not an optimistic update, not a this is what I think is going to happen. This is the new state. So you can do that. I don't know how opinionated I am about it, honestly. I think they're both fine. I wouldn't say one is more or less correct. We have a quick test for this. Um, just getting in the habit of writing tests for everything we do. You don't always build stuff from scratch every single day. This might come as a shock, but when you work as a developer, you don't show up, build a brand new app from scratch, call it at 5 o'clock, dust your hands. You're coming up to stuff that has already existed. So what Code Platoon suggests and what Jordan absolutely suggests, you add a feature, you add a test for that feature, right? If you come work with me and I ask you to add a feature to an app, and there's not a test associated with it in your PR, I'm not gonna, not gonna approve your PR. Not because I don't trust you, but because I don't trust anybody. You're not, make sure you got some tests. So we had this views. I'm not making that up, right? Tests, test views. We can paste this right quick, and make sure it makes sense. Goodness, I think we could all read these comments. I think the code is explicit enough. Response, client, select Pokemon, Pikachu, data. This is the data. This is the updates. Loads response, self asserts equals. Basically, we're setting captured to true. That is what we hope to do. At this point, where the Pokemon is created at the top, Pikachu is false, right, or captured is false, right? So we are sending a post request, a put request to change capture status to true, and we're asserting that the response of the first list response field of captured is equal to true. That's what this is testing. Let's kill that and just real quick run our tests. How do I run a test within the tests folder? We know how to do that. Can I just do this? I don't know.
Don't you have to do a test and then tests in the name of, yeah.
Yeah, we can run them all. Uh-oh. This views assert equal. Oh, goodness. I swear I'm running into every unexpected issue. I know what this is. And I do this all the time where I test stuff on my work computer and then I come on my personal computer to run this. And there's slight differences and it drives me insane and I'm never going to learn my lesson. But we've seen this. We know what this means. Do you mean assert equal instead of assert equals? Yes, at some point Django updated it from assert equals to assert equal, and we'd have to change every one. Ran 7 tests, failed 3. I'm guessing these all failed. I'm guessing there's other one. Ooh. Is that even the error? I'm not playing this game today. There we go. So now what do we got a problem with? List entities must be integers, slices, not a string. What? Not even the test I'm testing. Man. Ah! Remember when y'all said it's frustrating when we run into too many errors when you're doing Django stuff? And I said, I agree, that shouldn't happen. And I put myself in a situation to perfectly cause that to happen. From this day forward, I will never test my lecture on a different machine than I run it on. I swear this to y'all. I'm sorry. Goodness. Slight differences in Python environments can cause you so many pains. Slight differences in Docker environments cause you so many pains. That's not what this lesson's about, but that's what you are going to get from it. Any questions about these things or anything else we've learned along the way?
Is there a time, or I guess what's the difference, or is it just preference from doing requests from the API versus like Postman?
Oh, I mean, it's different. It's all the same, right? Postman is a way better tool for writing out and testing and looking at requests. It's a really big, highly designed, in my opinion, extremely overly bulky testing tool. But it's really good for some people who really are big into testing APIs. I've not ever found it anywhere near my needs. I want to show you something when I'm done recording because I don't need to like evangelize my favorite tool for this, but this will only get you so far, right? Running on this. It doesn't give me great errors. It
I
only
was
gives me
having
the
issues
errors.
last week doing a post, like when we were doing the wine API.
Mhm.
Um and you had tried to add some like it's just examples to show because there was no data populating. And then when we were doing the challenge, I tried to do it and I couldn't get it to do it on the API, but I was able to post it on Postman.
Yeah, your mileage may vary with the Django REST framework's ability to post to itself. And there's some reasons for that. With a well properly built out serializer and views, that shouldn't be a problem. Um, but that's kind of the problem with it. It was quick and available and easy for me today to use, so I used it. I shouldn't have to use something outside of my application to test my application. Um, but yeah, with the wines bit, I that we owe that another look because I would really expect them to be able to make updates to it. But there's a lot of different tools to kind of do that. You're testing more. Here's what I'll say to answer your question truly. I think Postman is the preferred method for testing your API if you're going to be doing something. Um, the Django REST frameworks testing suite, I don't want to call it really anything. It's literally just it takes some JSON and it tries its best. Your mileage will vary with that. So I wouldn't get caught up on it if it doesn't seem to be allowing you to make posts and puts. Um, at least not, it might be indicative of a problem, but if you're able to do everything you need to do with Postman and you've already got it set up, ready to go, I think that's probably a better tool. It's going to give you better errors. It's going to be able to show you more. You're going to be able to dissect the headers, dissect the errors, dissect network problems, whatever what you go learn way too much about it, with Postman. So I would suggest that. I just don't have Postman on this M2 because it's still relatively new. And man, I don't please stop. Um, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's just Jordan being lazy, not wanting to relook up his Postman data to get it signed on my computer. Um, but yeah, I would suggest Postman. Any other questions, comments, concerns?